Rani Lakshmibai, often remembered as the bravest queen of India, holds a permanent place in the history of India's struggle against British rule. She became a symbol of courage, patriotism, and self-respect during a time when the country was reeling under colonial domination. Her story is not just about battles, but also about resilience, determination, and leadership in the face of overwhelming odds. Rani Lakshmibai was born on 19th November 1828 in Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. Her birth name was Manikarnika Tambe, but she was lovingly called Manu by her family. Her father, Morapant Tambe, was a court advisor, while her mother, Bhagirathi Bai, was a deeply religious woman. Unlike most girls of her time, Manu was given the opportunity to learn horse riding, sword fighting, and archery. She grew up with boys of her age, playing wrestling, shooting arrows, and mastering martial arts. This unusual upbringing helped shape her fearless personality. Manu also received formal education and was literate in Sanskrit and Marathi, something that was uncommon for women during the 19th century. At the age of 14, Manu was married to Maharaja Gangadhar Rao, the ruler of Jhansi, a princely state in central India. After her marriage, she was given the name Lalshmibai, after the Hindu goddess Lakshmi. The marriage brought her from a humble upbringing into the grandeur of the royal palace. Although she lived the life of a queen, Lalshmibai did not confine herself to luxuries. She continued her interest in military training and actively engaged with state matters. In 1851, she gave birth to a son, but tragically, he died within 4 months. Later, she and her husband adopted a boy named Damodar Rao, following Hindu customs of succession. Unfortunately, in 1853, Maharaja Gangadhar Rao passed away. Lakshmibai was widowed at a young age, and her adopted son was declared the heir. However, her troubles began soon after this tragedy. At that time, the East India Company had introduced a policy called the Doctrine of Lapse, under which any princely state without a natural heir would be annexed by the British. Lord Dalhousie, the then Governor-General of India, applied this policy to Jhansi. He rejected Damodar Rao's adoption and refused to recognize him as the legitimate heir. As a result, in 1854, the British ordered Lakshmibai to leave the Jhansi fort and accept a pension, but the young queen refused to surrender. She famously declared,
"Meri Jhansi nahi dungi. I shall not give up my Jhansi."
This marked the beginning of her lifelong struggle against British domination. The First War of Indian Independence broke out in 1857 when Indian sepoys rebelled against the British. Jhansi became one of the major centers of this revolt. At first, Lakshmibai was hesitant to join the rebellion, but when the British threatened to seize her kingdom completely, she decided to fight. She organized her army with remarkable skill. She included not only male soldiers but also trained women to fight in the battlefield. Under her leadership, Jhansi became a stronghold of resistance. In June 1857, rebels captured the fort of Jhansi and handed over control to the Rani. However, the British forces under General Hugh Rose later marched towards Jhansi to suppress the rebellion. In March 1858, the British army laid siege to Jhansi. Lakshmibai, wearing men's attire and carrying her sword, rode on horseback at the forefront of her army. She inspired her soldiers with her courage, personally participating in the defense of the fort. When the British breached the walls, she refused to surrender. Carrying her adopted son, Damodar Rao, on her back, she leapt from the fort's walls on horseback, a daring act that became legendary. She managed to escape and join forces with Tantia Tope, another great freedom fighter of the revolt. Together, they captured the fort of Gwalior and raised the banner of independence. In June 1858, the British attacked Gwalior. Lakshmibai once again led her troops with unmatched valor. Dressed as a soldier, she fought fiercely on the battlefield. However, during the battle on 17th of June 1858, she was struck by bullets and severely wounded. Realizing that she was on the verge of death, she requested that her body should not fall into the hands of the British. Her loyal attendants carried her away and set her body on fire, ensuring that the British could not desecrate her remains. At the age of just 29, Rani Lakshmibai attained martyrdom. Rani Lakshmibai's death sent shockwaves across India. Even her enemies, including General Hugh Rose, admired her bravery, and described her as the bravest and best leader among the rebels. Her story inspired countless freedom fighters in the years that followed. Leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Subhas Chandra Bose, and Jawaharlal Nehru often cited her courage as a source of motivation. She became a symbol of resistance against oppression and a reminder that women could lead nations with as much strength and wisdom as men. Her legacy lives on through literature, songs, plays, and films. School children in India still recite poems that celebrate her valor, and the fort of Jhansi remains a place of historical importance. In modern India, Rani Lalshmibai is remembered not only as a warrior queen, but also as an icon of women's empowerment and patriotism. The story of Rani Lalshmibai is not merely a tale of war. It is the story of an unyielding spirit that refused to bow before injustice. Despite facing personal tragedies, political betrayals, and overwhelming enemies, she stood tall as a defender of her people and her kingdom. Her words, "I shall not give up my Jhansi," echo through history as a declaration of courage and love for her motherland. She lived a short life, but her impact was eternal. Rani Lalshmibai's struggle remains one of the most inspiring chapters in India's freedom movement, reminding generations that the fight for justice is worth every sacrifice.